give us your names and where you're from.
So I'm Wesley Murch. I am from England.
I'm Troy Fry and I'm from England.
Meynard from Switzerland.
Okay, so this is your first time in the X-Pyr. What possessed you to enter?
So yeah, first time in the X-Pyr. I've been a professional athlete for 17 years, fighting professionally. So there's no crossover at all. But so I've been fighting professionally for 17 years, and that's coming towards the end of its lifespan. And I started paragliding about 4 years or so ago, and I've got probably just over 1,000 hours in 4 years. I fly about 250 hours a year, and I did a bit of comp flying, and I liked it, but I didn't like the element of not having to think too much, just follow the people and be at the top. So the adventure race style really appealed to me because you have to think a lot, you have to be creative, you have to monitor weather, you have to really get on your feet if it's raining. And I think in a race like this, mental strength can play as much a part as physical strength. So yeah, I'm really interested to see the challenge to myself mentally.
Mm-hmm. And you don't think that your fighting background is going to help you at all?
Unless arthritic feet and bad knuckles is going to help, no.
There are those bears as well in the mountains.
Yeah, if I have to wrestle,
you never know.
And if me and Krieg will get 5 minutes alone in the woods, and I can maybe even the playing
field. Who knows
field.
what can happen?
No, I think it will. In the there's probably a lot less chance of being punched and kicked during this. But at the same time, when you have to fight with another man for 5-minute rounds, and you're getting elbowed in the face in the first round, and you're on your back, and it's really tough, and everything in your head is saying quit, it's really tough, bam, you're getting hit again, quit, and you bite through it, and then you reverse that position, you get into a dominant position, that goes back and forth for 25 minutes, you're on your back, or then you're on top, and things are going really well, and then they're going really bad. So I think from a mental point of view, then yes, I think fighting's probably among the top sports that could help, but from a physical point of view, just in the fitness, I mean, being able to put myself through it to get fighting fit should probably help with the fitness of this.
And so how did you manage to recruit these guys to come with you?
By default, no one else wanted it. It's a hard thing to get people to do. No,
it's very honest of you to admit that. You've got no other mates.
No, it's not. No, really. So I didn't recruit Troy at all. Troy just said, "Well, when we go into the X-Pyr," and I was like, "What? I've not been invited." So what happened was I spoke to another pilot about being my assistant, and he was umming and ahhing, and Kevin and I had flown together at the Brits. We got on together, he's really energetic and enthusiastic, and he rang me and he messaged me and said, "Hey Wes, if you're doing the X-Pyr and you need an assistant, I'd be really interested." So we went back and forth. I didn't tell him that I'd spoke to anybody yet, we exchanged mails. Then I told him I'd spoke to somebody, and I thought that would test his enthusiasm. If he doesn't contact me again or anything, then I know he's not that. A couple of days later, I was like, "Hey buddy, just wondering if you heard from your mate, I'd really be interested." And so from there, I was sort of leaning more towards Kev than I was my original friend, because he showed a real enthusiasm for it. And as that went on, he'd send me, "I've been thinking about the X-Pyr, and I know we're not confirmed yet, but I thought maybe we could work on this together." And he put so much thought into it, I thought it would be a shame not to have Kev. So as the time's gone on, I've realised that he's a great addition to the team. He's a great pilot. We've flown together. He's a great pilot, and he really gets my drive to do the racing, and it's something that he wants to do in the future. So
I think it's important to get flying skills, physical skills, but at the same time you need that trio to work out really well in a race, because there's only so many hours in the day, and he needs to feed a lot, need to be found. There's a lot to do, so it's very important as well to have that. And you can rely on those having to think about in the air, "Oh my God, is my food going to be ready when I get down there?" and stuff. So I think it's a very important part of the race to get the pace.
And he lives in Cardiff now, so I fly obviously in Wales a lot now because I'm doing hike and fly. So flying in Wales gives me there's no real mountains, but that's the most hilly terrain we have to fly. So Kev and I have been able to link up a lot, which is a great help, because if he lived in Switzerland, I'd probably say no, but because he lived in Wales, it really worked out really well. So yeah, it's worked really good, I think.
Yeah, it's been good.
And so have you got a supporter strategy where somebody's hiking, the other one's driving, or how do you...
So yeah, Troy's the driver. He brings nothing else to the group.
And I bring good looks, charm, charisma, all what they're lacking. So
No, so Troy competitively cycles, and he was training for triathlons at one point before he got plantar fasciitis. So I used to coach Troy. He used to come to me to learn how to fight, so I used to coach him. So I knew exactly how to stimulate Troy in a training point of view. And then he knew how I was as a coach, and I think that what happened was he sort of adopted those things in his training for his biking and his triathlon from what he'd taken from fighting. So he now puts that into cycling. So I thought, well, I've got a guy who does compete at something, although it's not paragliding in any way. He's competitive. He knows that, listen, this guy being achy and suffering is my number one importance. I need to sacrifice if I have to eat an hour later than we thought to make sure his feet are dry and stuff like that.
he's saying he's selfless, don't you? In a way, he's selfish but selfless. So you can push him and drive him, but at the same time can take a backseat and say, well, I don't really matter for a minute. You're more important. We look after you right now. You know, and a normal everyday person sometimes can't hold that back. Their hunger would be, oh, I need to eat, but I know, well, I can eat in an hour. You know, no matter how hungry I am, he's going to be suffering, not me. You know, so
yeah. So Troy's going to be the driver and our main responsibility for keeping me up together, and then Kev will be like the flying technical guy, etc.
It also gives Kev a chance to have just focus on Wes a lot more with the flying aspect, you know. And then when he's tired, if he needs me to hike with Wes, I can hike with Wes because I'm fit enough to keep pushing him through, you know. So.
Well, you sound like a real dream team.
No. We've rehearsed the speech. We've got it right many times.
Well, we're certainly really looking forward to watching you in the race and bumping into you as we cross the Pyrenees. And,
thank you.
And we're also definitely looking forward to having a few beers with you in Porto La Selva at the other end.
Good.
Oh God. Oh God.